Ciao loves, welcome to Drawing Down the Stars, and this is Gemma with your October new moon reading. This month begins lunation number 1272, and it is the start of the 8th lunar month. The sun and moon will meet in the lunar mansion of Chitra in the sign of Libra. The theme of this month is refine and rebuild. The nature of the 8th lunar month is transformation, and it calls upon the energies of purification and preparation. So let's dive in into how all of this is unfolding uniquely unto us and our world. There will be a few planets that will contribute to these themes. First and foremost, Jupiter. Jupiter is positioned in Cancer, his point or sign of exaltation. And he is also in his own lunar mansion of Purnavasu. So here we have exalted in lunar mansion of Purnavasu, and then exalted in sign in Cancer. This position is going to work heavily into tradition. I know, seems, but it is. It's going to work into the seed of tradition, the ancestral knowledge, the ancient wisdom. It's going to help for some of you access deeper hidden wisdom that lies within you that will help you in this transformation. For us collectively, it's going to work into how we hold tradition and actually working with tradition to serve innovation. And I'll get into that in a bit, but Purnavasu represents a transference of souls. It is a transmission. That transmission will work deeply for a lot of you into your deeper states of consciousness, your intuition. For some of you, it might come in as aha moments, but this transference is about shifting realities, shifting a embodiment, shifting the conscious resonance. This expansion within Cancer is going to work the nourishment aspect to help prepare. So it's going to feed as we are in the preparation. Now let's go into Mercury and Venus, who are also benefically helping this month. Mercury at the time of the new moon is going to be in the sign of Libra, and Venus is going to be in the sign of Virgo. They are currently occupying each other's signs. Vedically, this is known as a yoga. This means that it's going to strengthen and bring in not only new, brilliant, creative ideas, but the different higher level of intellect, or buddhi, as we say, is going to help in that creative capacity. It is going to be about working with the nature's finer forces. And that means working with the subtle. So first and foremost, before we go even deeper into these stars and how we're going to draw them down, this position amongst the stars is heavily about material world, about being in this material world, but seeking and preparing to move into the spiritual. But it's different. It's different. It's always different, but really this material world is an afterthought with these stars here. There is so much energy stirring in the astral realm. Some lineages call it astral, some call it sublunary. It is going to work the subtle body, the realm of the mental and emotional that starts to connect our individuated level of consciousness with consciousness that is beyond time and space. That can be through ancestors. That's the sacred connection to source. That is time and knowledge that supersedes current physicality right now. Okay. So all of this is stirring. All of this is maneuvering. What is the refinement and rebuilding about? First and foremost, Chitra represents the pearl. It is the jewel that is hidden inside the oyster. It is called the lunar mansion of the heavenly architect. It means to take the raw material, that which has not been informed, and make it into the idealistic form. And I want you to really start to think about a great sculptor who takes a slab of marble and chips away to reveal a beautiful embodiment of his vision and of the art. That is what this position represents. It is about architecting your essence and your state of being and having access to a wisdom and an expanded consciousness, so something new will emerge. The transformation is going to happen primarily within the subtle realm. It's not going to be in your physical reality. This lunation is working heavily into light and dark. That's not duality. I'm not talking about good and bad, good, right and wrong. No, it's working into, it's an inverse relationship. So what is seen, known, what is in the light is dead. What is unseen, unknown, what's in the darkness is alive. So everything that lives within your mind and your heart that is not currently in form, we're talking about that. Everything that is in access into knowledge that you haven't yet tapped in, we're talking about that. Abilities that you haven't grasped yet, we're talking about that. So this is about not working into the material world, but working into the mental and emotional, the subtle world. Energies here are going to really work into bringing things into your hands. It's going to push us for self-mastery. Just like the example I gave with the chisel and bringing forward, it's a mastery that occurs when you carve out a sculpture. But this mastery isn't about mastering your external world. It's just not going to be that way. You're working with the dead. It's mastering the inner world. Everything is emerging from the inner world, the depths, the dark, the unknown, the unseen. That is a world that is going to be alive. For many of you, you already have access into this based off of your position of your stars. Your inner world is like a cacophony of just great things. It's very vivid. That's where a majority of us are moving. Collectively, there is trying to be a unification of consciousness, even though it doesn't feel like that with everything that is going on in our world with all this suffering. It is going to move the consciousness to a different level based off of your state of embodiment. If you remember, I talked a little bit about this last month, how certain clair abilities or super conscious abilities will come forward. This now is merging into the transformation. Okay. This month is going to ask that we start to work with mastery of your mind and emotion and purification. In yoga, we call this yagya. Now, yagya is a purification fire. It is not a purification of your diet. I'm not discrediting taking a detox. In fact, I think it would be phenomenal if you did it a few times over this month. It is more about the sacrifice and purification to return things to their highest essence, the alchemist, if you will. Venus is positioned in Hasta in Virgo, which represents the sign of the alchemist, or the one that creates from the finer forces and reveals the consciousness within. It is all the creative abilities within the universe. So when I talk about purification that is going to unfold this month, it is literally removing all of the things that shroud your light, all of the things, your state of embodiment that compromise the highest state of your mind, that compromise your emotions. That doesn't mean create blockades against yourself. Remember, the oyster opens up to be revealed, the sculpture is revealed. It's more about having such a level of mastery that you are not pulled to manipulate or interact with things around you to define yourself, defend yourself, or any of that. It is truly about having a mastery that you elevate your nature. Now that purification, that yagya, is just, let's go back to the alchemist. Just like an alchemist will burn the plant matter after it's been distilled. So once the essence, the prana, the consciousness, the life force have been elevated out, you burn the plant matter. That plant matter is releasing the body in which the basic material of ash is there, the minerals, the foundation. That is this month of purification and transformation. We are transforming what lives within so it may be revealed and releasing, relinquishing, and burning off the external structure for only the foundational nourishment to remain. The time of the 8th lunar month was when the ancients believed not only was it transformation, but a descent into the underworld and a preparation of the seed that will emerge in March. This is very much alive right now. The astral realm, the access to your ancestral wisdom it's really open, especially if you have Jupiter in Cancer naturally, or you have a heavy Cancerian influence. This is going to be up-leveled for you. But for all of us, in essence, this ancestral knowledge has to be refined and built upon. This is also a time where the ancients would burn ancestral karma. So any ancestral karma that is binding you needs to be turned to the fire, transformed, taken only into the nutrients and the sustenance that will help you rebuild. This ancestral purification of ancestral karma also indicates to not do the things the way they were done. Sounds funny, right? Because I talked about tradition, but let me go into this further. Ancestor means previous generation. Yes, you will access ancestral ancient lineage knowledge that is not maybe in bloodline. It can be previous lifetimes, previous eras that will be revealed to you. So knowledge of how things used to happen will be available. But I'm also talking about ancestor is previous generation. Generation just means to bring what into creation, that which was generated, that. So ancestral karma is also burning off the old mechanism of how you were embodied. Second of all, this transformation of that embodiment, this access into the ancestral wisdom is going to allow you, once you have purified, relinquished a bind, held tight, it's going to allow you to access the deeper realms and levels of consciousness where all things are available. This is where you want to be, this space of the unknown, so you can have everything available to you to rebuild. The refinement is the purification and self-mastery. The rebuilding is accessing the knowledge so you can sculpt creatively and intellectually. That will be revealed by March. Now, let's go a little bit deeper into preparation and how things are awakening uniquely within this month. The preparation that the ancients would do, or the preparation is the energy of protection in an essence. When you prepare something, you not only make it pure and beautiful, and you make sure that it is endowed with everything it needs to be successful. In addition to that, you prepare by setting everything up as much as possible so you are ready. You're prepared. Same concept here, except for it's not going to be, again, your manipulation into the material world. It's going to be the mind. Prepare yourself. Become mentally strong. Become emotionally strong. Start to move things out of your body so you create space for new wisdom to enter. This preparation is going to be sharpen your tools, get ready, and it's about reshaping your reality. This embodiment that I talked about is going to stop engaging the world of matter or the dead and start preparing yourself to navigate through the unseen. From a deeper perspective, a conscious and spiritual application, this means you do have to prepare the mind and the body. Breath work, pranayama, will be integral. It will strengthen your astral body. It strengthens the energy body. It also frees the mind and makes it more steady. So during this month, specific pranayama practices are going to be key. Second, do not know what is in form. Do not work within your circumstances. I know that sounds so contradictory, but is it? If you take a new embodiment and a new reality, and this time is about transformation and reformation, rebuilding, you wouldn't work with your old rusty tools. You would build something not bigger, maybe stronger, more in alignment. So it is asking that you then move outside of the superficial. Energy seeks to move in the unseen and the unknown. Draw your senses inward, and you will start to see the inner city come alive. This retraction is going to occur from the material sense, and then it's going to start to move. If you remember a few months ago, we had the theme of self-reliance come up. That self-reliance that was stirring was integral to where we are now. That self-reliance is now giving you the confidence, i.e. the Martian nature, to dive into the unknown and create with everything that is possible to you. The finer forces is what is coming into play. For those of you that don't know, this means the subtle qualities of the elements. It is essentially the law of multiplicity. So when the elements are first in distinction, like different colors and whatnot, then they come into form. It means to work with the quality and characteristics within the subtle realm, not within the gross material realm. So working with finer forces in terms of symbolic representation in your rituals, also within the mind. Being able to see and work with the elements within the conscious mind is going to shift your physical reality. Venus here is going to work that. Mercury is going to show you how that comes forward. This last few things before we dive into key dates. This lunar mansion is going to represent it. It moves from karma into tamas, or kama into tamas. That means that which you desire needs to come into form, resistance, inertia. It needs to come into almost drawing everything in for a stabilization. What that means is it is initiating within this 8th lunar month of transformation is how to progress the mind consciously into new heights. There is going to be the implication of desire. You're either going to be pulled to the worldly, or you're going to move from the desire of the mind and the heart to ascend. So you're either going to continue to function in the seen known world and feel unfulfilled, unnourished, not expanding, or it will become very clear that as you move into the subtle realm, the spiritual world, things will be more fulfilling. You'll have more movement, maneuverability. You will have a unification of the mind and the heart. There will be a lot of stirring that occurs. This is natural. This is spirit and matter. What is happening is the pull away from matter into the inner world will start to become very visible, making things that hold you back. So that removal, that purification will become very clear the more you move into your inner world. If at any point you become confused, you are maneuvering through your day and you have a lack of clarity, if you are, well, I like my life the way it is, it's everything I ever wanted, bravissimo. Also, if you're like, well, I'm doing what I love, I already know what I want to bring into this world, bravissimo. But it's about not the material as you are experiencing it now. And for those that are currently not where they want to be, the heart and their seed of their heart, or how they envision things, is not quite in the expression that they envision in their mind. This is a time period where that is going to be refined and you are going to rebuild it. This is more about a relinquishing of your ties to the material, and then a new vision, a new perception, an innovation of self and collective will emerge. So if at any point you feel confused, lack of clarity, lack of confidence, it is your indication to go deeper into meditation. This is an indication that you must retract from the material world, because when the heart and soul are in dissonance, it will create confusion and seek clarity from the external, and that will diminish confidence. So if any of those emotions arise, that is your aha. Those things need to be purified. I am moving into the unknown, therefore all things are available to me. Because this astral realm is dominating and because there is more action in the unseen realm, it's going to ask that through this unseen realm over the next 3 months, you affirm that vision and align with a higher consciousness. That you move your consciousness not to be solely into, I'm going to envision it and then it's going to come into the world and then I'm going to live it. It's going to be predominantly in, can you live in a higher state of consciousness independent of what is occurring in the world, independent of what manifests through you, independent of your reaction to that manifestation? This is going to be a self-mastery test. But you got it. Everything is building us for this time frame, for this period of formation. The exchange between Jupiter and Venus will heavily work into the intellect and aesthetic, harmony and enlightenment, refinement and fortune. What that means is your inner world will make it very, very vivid. Make that vision of what you see very vivid. And what will spur many of you into new creative abilities or new consciousness is actually an aesthetic. Something looks good, something feels good. It's going to play on the external sensors so it can work the internal sensing. That's quite all right. Tap in, tune into it. Now let's dive into key dates. I've been talking about everything's coming into fruition into March because it will be our spring. But this 8th lunar month is a sacred spiritual month. It is the dormancy. So before we come to rebirth, we descend into dormancy. This is where things will have to be resurrected from, right? So this courage and confidence need to be worked. The courage and confidence means that as you go into dormancy, don't worry if things are not working out as you are reacting to them. So as you would see, you have to have faith. There is a transformation of structure within us all and collectively, and we feel it. We will see it. There is innovation butting up against tradition. Digital IDs, farming, manipulated food, fresh, organic, grown by your hand. This is what I meant by Jupiter traditional holds a wisdom versus innovation. Though we are moving there, they are in opposition with one another. The taking a traditional mechanism, aligning with the stars, for example, is a traditional ancient wisdom that will allow you to innovate in a new way. By tapping into sacred energy, you expand your reality and your embodiment to innovate your physical reality within this time frame. Now, what that means is you prepare. Okay, the transformation of structure will come full force by March 19th. We will all see inklings and mile markers before that time. Preparation to go into the descent, deeper meditation, cleanse the body, cleanse your environment, break away from things that keep you stuck in reaction. Take time to clear your senses. When there are nature of the finer forces, many people's senses are dulled in this external world because they are bombarded, right? We're constantly hearing things that's so loud, seeing, processing, registering. Our nervous systems are fried and they're on overdrive. In order for the finer forces, the subtler energies to become known within the intellect, here is Mercury, it requires that you refine that. That means you don't give way and open your gates to so much noise. Takes time away from screen time, pratyahara, detach, disassociate, turn off the screen, take a day of silence. This is going to, in conjunction with breath work, refine your ability to intellectualize the finer natures. Not only that, but to be able to work with them. Not only that, but be able to very much feel and sense them. For those that are in Cancer, this energy is magnified. Okay, we had a lot of Piscean natures magnified in the months previous. Madonna Mia. Now, Cancer, you guys, or everybody has Cancer, but for those of you with it predominantly in your chart, your abilities to sense finer energies will become awakened. My recommendation, lean into it. Lean in, lean in. You're going to notice the subtleties of things. That is a higher state of embodiment, but it's also a higher refinement of the mind. So this refining of your senses, refining of your mind will come in. The reawakening, as the Babylonians said, is going to move the powers unseen from you, within you. You have to go down, as the Romans said, go into the mundus, go into the underworld, honor your guardians, and then pull out hidden powers. That is going to play through on October 27th. Purify, except on that day. Take a cleansing bath. Put some frankincense essential oil in your bath. Have an intention to access intuitive direction. It's a higher state of mind. It's not analytical. The 31st is a quintessential day. The mind is going to have access to deeper realms. That means what lies within the ancestral realm, what lies in the multiple layers. And I'm down deep. You're going to go deep into the recesses. If there's any resistance, any procrastination, any fear, that's the cave you seek, as Joseph Campbell says. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. That day is where you tap in, tune in, and go and access higher wisdom. If you are not in alignment with that type of ancestral knowledge, pick up a book and tune into something of old tradition, a sacred lineage, occult knowledge, esoteric wisdom. Because on the 5th, the full moon of November, there will be so much that comes into your conscious life that has emerged from the depth of the mind and of collective consciousness. This is an exceptional day to set out a ceremony and bring that fruition or bring that vision into more action. So just like the sculptor, as I mentioned, then you're going to take more action as of the full moon on November 5th and move that into, let's say, day to day. One other thing, I know we've gone so long. One last thing I promise is these energies are requiring more work, more practice in the subtle spiritual realm, the mental and emotional body, but it is asking that you do apply efforts within your hands, that you take that vision within you and chisel away, that you take actions that are moving you to that which you seek, that which lives within you, so you may bring that art into form. It is asking that you take a conscious action and have the courage to trust in your power, to have the confidence to know that what you need, what you know, and how to maneuver is already within you, and it will come forward. Okay. Key announcement, I am leading a sacred journey retreat to Scotland, to the sacred stones. This is a yoga retreat that synchronizes the placement of the moon to align with strategic and very lifetime changing energies that are occurring this March. We will be at the temple of the moon, known as the Standing Stones, and also the temple of the sun for the spring solstice. It is heavily woven into the spiritual aspect. It is a journey and a pilgrimage that is going to unite specific astronomical occurrences into this world, a circle, if you will. So I invite you to be with us and join us. I'll include the link below. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Ciao, my loves. Happy, happy new moon. Many blessings to you all as we begin this 8th lunar month of transformation. Ciao.